All right, looks like we're live. Hi, folks on YouTube. Some of us are over here on Zoom, and if that is news to you, they're my Patreon patrons. Thank you, patrons. And if you ever want to join us on Zoom, you can join Patreon, but you don't have to because the Tuesday jams are always on Zoom for everybody. So no need to join Patreon if you don't want to. If you want to join us on Zoom, come to one of the Tuesday play-alongs. We've got Kathy and Judy already saying hi in the YouTube chat. Thanks for that. Kathy's in Ohio. Your internet's acting up, so you're on YouTube. Well, I'm glad that you made it. And Judy is in Richmond, Virginia. Thanks for being here to both of you. I know we've got some other people watching too. Feel free to say hi in the chat if you like. We like lurkers too. You don't have to. But you're welcome to make requests as we go through. This is one of my 4 free public online play-along jams I try to do every month. And this is one of the 2 that are especially beginner friendly. So whether or not you're a beginner, you're welcome. But if you are a beginner, we try to keep the songs to ones that have fewer chords, and I try to keep them a little slower, and I also try to give some suggestions for how beginners can play them. If you are not a beginner, you can, go customize them for yourself and your own skills and make them much more complicated if you like. But if you are a beginner, we'll try to help you work through it. And if you're a brand new beginner, please tell me in the chat and I will make sure that I'm giving you even simpler ideas. But in general, what I say over and over again is make it work for you. So if that means needing to single strum a song or only play the chords you know, or even cover your fretboard and just scratch out a rhythm without playing any chords at all, the goal for a jam like this is for you to be able to practice some stuff because nobody else can hear you, so you can kind of do whatever you want to try, and also to be able to feel like you're having fun playing along. And if you need to come back to any of these excuse me, recordings later, they're all up on YouTube for free, so you can look at the playlist of my public jams and get tons of other songs that we won't even have time to play today. But we will take requests. We're working from version 6 of the songbook, which I'm almost ready to issue version 7, but we'll do version 6, and hopefully by the end of the month we'll have version 7 out. You can request even if you're not playing along. Hi, Kathy. And you're welcome to put them in the chat on YouTube, and over here on Zoom people can put them in the chat, or they can unmute and suggest them in between songs. And also, if anybody has questions in between songs, please feel free to bring them up. You'll hear my voice go a little weak from time to time. I lost my voice a few weeks ago. It's still not back at 100%, but I'm in no pain, and we're just going to get through the jam. It'll be fine. We've done a couple recently, so I think it'll be okay. And I've picked out a song for us to warm up on. So I'm going to put these up on the screen, but if it's too small for you or you would otherwise like to have your own copy of this, it's all free. It's in the Patreon post that is public and easily accessible on my Patreon, or you can, I think, find a link in the description box on the YouTube as well. So I will put these up on the screen, but if you're on a phone, they might be a little hard to see. And also I'll say hi to Joe, who is in Redwood City, California, and is saying hi on the YouTube chat too. Thanks for being here, Joe. This song has 5 chords, yes, but most of them are pretty beginner one friendly. And as we always say, you can make substitutions if that helps you. For example, a lot of people mention this D7 bar shape. If that's tricky for you, then you can play the Hawaiian D7, which is just 2 fingers. It's 2nd fret G, 2nd fret E, and open strings otherwise. So you can play that Hawaiian D7 if that helps you get between chords for this one, and any other song, frankly. That's a substitution you can pretty much always make, although you can sometimes miss that high note that you get with the bar, and so the bar is worth learning. So for this one, we can play a simple island strum, which a lot of beginners learn pretty early on, but you don't have to know the island strum. If you don't know the island strum, I recommend just trying to feel the beats and strum them. Maybe you want to strum every other beat, like a 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of a thing, or you can do down, down, up in the same time that it'll take me to get through an island strum. So please feel free to simplify. And don't ever worry about whatever it says on the chord sheet, because I make those for people of all levels, and it's just a suggestion. So sometimes it'll not be beginner friendly, sometimes it will be. You can try it out if you like, but we'll just get through these as simply as we can today. So again, we're going to do a little slower than maybe you would if you were, if you knew this real one really well, and you may know it really well, but we'll do kind of a relaxed tempo for beginners. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Billy Ray was a preacher's son, and when his daddy would visit, that's a fun one. Let me pull up my post here and make sure I have the requests that were made earlier. I think got those here. Let's see here. And I saw another note over in the chat with a request for Mad World. Great. Yes, we will definitely do Mad World. I think we got that actually requested. Kathy requested that one too. So Kathy D and Kathy S are on the same wavelength. All right. Let's look at Mad World next. Why don't we do that? All right. Looks like we're live. Sorry. Had the wrong window open. Okay. Let's go to Mad World. Let me put it back up on the screen for you all. Kathy S says, I have trouble with the down, up, down, up, switching to the island strum. Yeah, when you're trying to do a variation on the island strum or a strum that's a little bit like island strum and you know island strum, that's definitely a common issue, switching automatically sort of with your muscle memory to that island strum. Sometimes it helps if you're really trying to do that with the song to practice it really slow and to separate out the strumming from the chords and just drill that strumming a little bit before you try to put it back together with the chords and the singing again, or even if you're not singing. All right, so Mad World looks a little intimidating on the page, but we don't need to do all these changes to the picking that it says here. Those are for more advanced players. If you are one, of course, you can do that. But I'm going to suggest we do a couple things to simplify this. One is that when I see an E minor and I'm working with beginners, while I love the E minor chord, and I think it's a great one to know, if you're uncomfortable with it, then sometimes we can switch to an E minor 7 and make that substitution, which is 0, 2, 0, 2, 2 on the C and the A this time, different from that Hawaiian D7. And it's not the same, but similar to the E minor. It's got a similar tone. So if you do all around me are familiar, that may sound wrong to you, in which case you may not like it and you don't want to make that substitution, but it may sound good enough to you, which sometimes is the way we get through a jam. So feel free to try that E minor 7, 0, 2, 0, 2, if that is what's going to make it possible for you to play this song. The other thing I would do on this one, if you're at all willing to or interested in it, if you're not a finger picker yet, this is not a bad one to try some finger picking on, because you can pick a very simple pattern. I've written it here as 1, 2, 3, 4 because I'm numbering the fingers, but it's backwards from how the strings are notated. So that means thumb on G, index on C, middle on E, and ring on A. And we're going to do them in a row, G, C, E, A, G, C, E, A. And you have two choices when you have that strumming pattern or picking pattern in this song. You can either do them faster if you're able and do it twice per chord, or you can do a slower, evenly spaced and do it just once per chord. So I'll actually show you both as we go through the song, and you can pick the one that works for you. I'll start out with the slower one and then I'll go to faster, but you can stay on the slower one if that is helpful to you. And let's see, so I'm going to pick all the way through this one rather than strumming any of it, but if you want to strum, you've got 4 beats. You could do an island strum, and that will fit into the same amount of time as the picking pattern that I'm doing. Or you could do a down, down, up, down, down, up, or single strums or something like that. So the place where I've got them bolded down here, you're going to get half as much time as you're getting for the other chords. So just be prepared for those to go by in 2 beats instead of 4, the E minor and the G, on the sort of refrain of Mad World. That'll come up a couple times in this song. All right, let's give it a try. And if I'm going half speed for the picking, I'm going to pick like this. So this is the slow version. Yeah, let me open up my chat so I can see it too, in case I ever have a, oh good, some requests coming in, terrific. So this is the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'll start with this for the first stanza, then I'll switch faster, but you can keep going slow if that's helpful to you. 1, 2, 3, 4. All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere, and their tears are filling up their glasses, no expression, no expression. Hide my head, I want to drown my sorrow. no tomorrow, no tomorrow. And I find it kinda funny, I find it kinda sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, 'cause I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. You do not need to change your strumming pattern, no matter what it says. Mad world. Children waiting for the day they feel good. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Made to feel the way that every child should. Sit and listen, sit and listen. Went to school and I was very nervous. No one knew me, no one knew me. Hello teacher, tell me what's my lesson. Look right through me, look right through me. And I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, 'cause I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. 2 patterns on the A if you're doing the fast one. Mad world. Same rhythm. Enlarging your world. One more line. Mad world. Now let's strum the A together. All right. Cool song. Thanks for suggesting that. All right, we're going to go through the different requests we're getting. I see a bunch in the chat over here, which is great. And folks on YouTube, you can put them in too. Let's do Ring of Fire next, because we're kind of by that part of the alphabet. Ring of Fire is a good one, I think, for beginners because it has a little bit of a strange rhythm. It's not as straightforward as some songs, but it's so familiar to most beginners in terms of how it sounds. And also there's only 3 chords that I think it's still pretty beginner approachable. Now the tricky thing is that you've got some 4-beat chords and then you've got a little extra, like another half a measure for some of these. So you'll hear that with these F's and G7s in the middles of the lines. So you've got love, and then you've got a little extra 1, 2, and then burning gets the other 2. So you're splitting 4 beats between the end of the C and the beginning of the F or the G7. And then we'll go back to thing for another 2 rounds of whatever 4-beat pattern we've chosen. I use island strum on this one, but you could use rock strum, you could use single strums. You're going to get 4 beats for everything except that initial or the end of the C and the F in the middle of the line. That gets 4 beats together. So here's how I approach it. I'll do a C, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, F, 2, back to C. And then I do 2 patterns for the C. And that will work pretty much the whole way through the song whenever you see these lines that start with 3, with C, and have an F or G7 in the middle. It's a little different on the sort of refrain, the I fell into a burning ring of fire. But when you get down to the end of that, you'll hear that happen a little bit again in the ring of fire. Another 2 count fire. So those F's and G7s in the middles of lines and at the end of the refrain are going to get 2 beats. But I think if you know this song, if you've heard it before, that'll kind of, you'll start to intuitive it. You won't need to count it necessarily. Let's just give it a try. At the end of I know some of you have played it with me before. At the end, we're going to do a little tag, which is a single strum C, G7, C, a little cowboy ending on the end of it. And just 3 chords to worry about, which is nice. And if you haven't noticed this before, let's see, are we going from F to G7 ever in here or just from F to C? No, it doesn't help you. Going from F to G7 is kind of nice because you've already got a finger planted, but it won't help us in this song. There's one typo in here that's going to get fixed in my update, but that is, oops, I always open up the wrong thing when I try to just show you a little strike through there. Oh. Let me try that again. Beginner packet, here we go. And we'll go back to Ring of Fire. Try to get fancy and then it doesn't work. Okay, Ring of Fire. Here we go, I'm putting it back up on the screen. So the other thing I wanted to show you was, this is of course not a W7 chord in the middle. That'll be a G7. So I think you'd be able to guess that. But just in case that throws anybody off, I'll put that there. All right, so we'll get 6 counts, remember, for those beginning Cs. And however you need to do that, even if you just play 4 beats and then stop and then come in on the F, that'd be fine too. 1, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, F, F, C, and C. And same thing again, but with G7. 1, 2, 1, 2, C. Here comes the verse. Great one. All right, I'm going to go back up to the table of contents so folks over on YouTube who haven't gotten a chance to look at that can look at that too. And I'm going to go also to our chat for some more requests. If you're just joining us on YouTube, even if you're just listening or planning on coming back and playing later, you're welcome to make requests. I think next one we'll do, while those of you are getting a look at the songbook to see if you have more requests, I'll choose another one off of our Zoom list here. Why don't we do Times They Are A-Changin'? That's been a good one in my live jams lately too. I've been doing them here in New York City, and that one's been going over well. As I always say with Bob Dylan, his lyrics just feel fresh no matter what's going on politically around the world, and this is another one that I feel like feels like it was not written in 1963, or at least could have been written more recently too. Let's see, can I get this whole thing on the page? One thing I will say to you about this one, we're going to lose this, well here, I'll scroll, because I want you to be able to see the C sus4 if you'd like to give it a try. Not every beginner is going to feel ready for an additional C chord, but you can certainly do this one just by putting your index finger down on the first fret of the E. that is a sort of transitional chord usually in most songs, and it's not even written into the song. Where I use it is just to play around with it at the ends of stanzas. So I'll do a Times They Are A-Changin, and then I'll hit that and then come right back to my C. So if you want to play around with that, that can be a fun thing to try, but you can just play the regular C. You don't have to use the suspended chord at all, which is why I didn't even write it in here. This one does have a slightly different strumming pattern because it's not a 4-beat song. It is down, down, up in my suggestion. You can play other ways too because it's more of a waltz time, a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you can think of hitting that down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down. And that pulse will kind of get you through the whole song. The other thing I'll say for beginners is that there's this line of a bunch of G chords, and you could play the regular G all the way through. You don't have to switch it, but if you do, G to G7 to G6, which is the same as E minor 7, to G, gives you a nice kind of moving chord tone, but it's all based around the G chord, so if you play G or G7 all the way through that, you'd be fine. So only do that if it's comfortable to you. All right, let's give this one a try. 1, 2, and 2, and 2, 2, and 2, and 2 more of these for the intro. One more. Come gather round people wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. Suggestion. Thanks for that one. All right. I don't see any in the chat over on YouTube yet, so let me go and do Somewhere Over the Rainbow next. This one's going to test my voice a little bit. This arrangement, as I usually say, is great for beginners in terms of the chords, but a lot of people find this a little high to sing, including me, but I don't mind playing it at all. But since I did lose my voice a couple weeks ago, we'll see if I can hit all the notes. If you do get comfortable with this particular version, this version in C of Somewhere Over the Rainbow, I suggest trying out the one in G. Cynthia Lynn also has a chart for it. You can find the chords online, but it's a little bit more vocal friendly for most people. Of course, you may find this one perfectly in your range, which is great too. This is based more on the Brother Is version than it is on the original from Wizard of Oz. I don't know, I blanked on Wizard of Oz. But if I sing the wrong melody, it's because I get the two twists in my head and I end up making some kind of third version. I'll try not to do that. Island strums works really nicely on this one, but if you don't know Island, again, single strum, hit the beats, just do something that feels like it works with the song. It's fine to not have a strumming pattern and just make up your own. 1, 2, 3, 4. A bonus demonstration of what I mean when I talk to people about going up the octave or down the octave, which some of you know already, but for people who haven't done a lot of singing, it can be a weird concept to think about singing the same notes an octave up or the same notes an octave down, and that is an example of me having to drop to the lower octave because I can hit all those notes up there. I also
Sorry to make you sing so high.
No, it's good. As long as I don't push, I feel like I'm helping get my range back. So I really don't mind at all. Nothing hurts, so we're okay. Thank you for suggesting that. I think it's a beautiful song. Joe is suggesting Sunglasses at Night. And since we're right down here in the S's, let's do that. And then I'll go back to our Zoom chat requests again. Sunglasses at Night is a fun one. I feel like beginners can practice, like Joe says, that down up chuck up strum. But if you're not ready to chuck, or you don't like to chuck, or you don't care about chucking, you don't need to. Chucking is when you do a little percussive strum. I'm going to take my bracelets off for this, but you can absolutely just do a down up down up. You don't need to do down up chuck up. I'm going to do the chucking because I feel like it's easier for people to follow. If you're doing down, up, then I would suggest, if you can, leaning into that second down a little bit. Down, up, down, up. So it's a little more like the chuck to get a little harder second beat there. We also can skip the riff here. You can don't worry about that. If we do it in one of my Tuesday jams, we can go over the riff. But let me see, how much of this can I get on the... This is another one where you can try E minor 7 instead of E minor, see if you like the sound. Oh, I'm going to wait and scroll because I want you to be able to see that E minor at the top there in case you're trying the E minor chord. But I'll scroll down and get the... I'll take the name off it. That's an E minor at the top. So let's try this one. Again, I'll skip the riff, but I'll do the rest of it. And if you want to play the riff, you can, but it is on the G string, not the C string. It's another typo that's going to get fixed in version 7. So let's try 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and... Da, 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 da. I wear my sunglasses at night so I can watch you weave and breathe your storylines. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I wear my sunglasses at night so I can keep track of the visions in my eyes while she's deceiving me. It cuts my security. Has she got control of me? I turn to her and say 2, 3, 4. Don't switch the blade on the guy in shades. Oh no. Don't masquerade with the guy in shades. Oh no. I can't believe it. You got it made with the guy in shades. Oh no. 2, 3, 4. And I wear my sunglasses at night so I can forget my name while you collect your claim. And I wear my sunglasses at night so I can see the light that's right before my eyes while she's deceiving me. It cuts my security. Has she got control of me? I turn to her and say 2, 3, 4. Don't switch the blade on the guy in shades. Oh no. 3, 4. Don't masquerade with the guy in shades. Oh no. I can't believe it. Don't be afraid of the guy in shades. Oh no. I can't escape you 'cause you're gonna make the guy in shades. Oh no. Da, 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 da. I said I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I said to you now, I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I cry to you. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. 2, 3, 4. I wear my sunglasses at night. I like to do an upstrum at the end of that. I think it's more mysterious sounding, especially if you're on low G. But of course, the downstrum's fine too. Thanks for suggesting that one, Joe. Really fun. I'm going to go back up so people can get another look at the table of contents. That's most of that second page. And we're going to also do, let's see here. We haven't done hard times yet, and that's still in our list of requests. So we'll do that one next. But if anybody wants to drop another one into either chat or let me know. We'll have time for a couple more. Oh, great. Sheila's suggesting My Church, Maren Morris song. That's a good one. And another one you can practice some checking on if anybody wants to. Anybody else? If you're thinking about it, I'll go down to Hard Times now and then My Church, and then if somebody else has another one, we probably can fit another one in. Hard Times is not too long by any means, but a little long, so we may only have time for one more after these, but that's okay. I love doing Hard Times as well. I mean, I wouldn't have a song in the songbook. I hated playing. That's a secret. You get to make your own songbook. You get to only put in songs you don't mind playing. All right. Oops, I just went past it. I saw it go by. All right. This is one that if you're a more advanced player, I really do recommend playing around with some strumming and picking patterns and trying up different things. I've written lots of suggestions here, but you don't need to do it. If you want, as a beginner, to try some picking, I would do what we did for Mad World and do the G, C, E, A, G, E, C, A, G, C, E, A, unless you're feeling more advanced and you want to try something else. But if you're much of a beginner, that one was probably enough. And then I'm also going to do some strumming on this one too, because I feel like that is, very accessible for this song. And island strum works nicely, or down, down, up, down, down, up. So why don't I start with some strumming? And then when we get to Pale Drooping Maiden, I will do a picking verse of the 1, 2, 3, 4, just G, C, E, A. Then I'll show you this down, down, up variation, which is a lot like island strum, but just slightly different, but a little simpler. And I will do the single strums here just for a change of pace. And then I'll go back into either down, down, up, or island strum at the end. But you can pick one thing and do it the whole way through. You don't need to vary it unless you're getting bored. And we can skip the intro too, because there's enough verses in here. You'll get enough chances to do that chord progression. So again, you can skip that suspended 4 as well, the C suspended 4. Just play the regular C if that's easier for you. And note a few of these bolded chords in here. Those are all going to get 2 counts instead of 4. So you'll want to do something like down, down, up, or a single strum, or 2 single strums when we get to the bolded chords. But you'll hear how it goes. We get lots of chances. If one of the first verses goes completely wrong, you'll get more chances. 1, 2. Let us pause in life's pleasures and count its many tears while we all sup sorrow with the poor. There's a song that will linger forever in our ears. Times come again no more. 'Tis the song, the sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Hard times come again no more. While we seek mirth and beauty and music light and gay, there are frail forms fainting at the door. Though their voices are silent, their pleading looks will say, hard times come again no more. 'Tis the song, the sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around cabin door. Hard times come again no more. I'm going to pick, but you don't have to. There's a pale drooping maiden who toils her life away with a worn heart whose better days are o'er. Here's Here's a halftime. Though her voice would be merry, 'tis sighing all the day. Oh, hard times come again no more. I'm going back to the strumming. 'Tis the song, the sigh of the wind. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Hard times come again no more. If you want to try the down, down, up, here's how it goes. 'Tis a sigh that is often across the troubled wave. 'Tis a wail that is heard upon the shore. 'Tis a dirge that is murmured around the lowly grave. Hard times come again no more. 'Tis the song, the sigh of the wind. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Hard times come again no more. Here's the outro here with an F, G7, and C2, G7 to C. Beautiful song. Thanks for suggesting it, Kathy. Let's look at My Church next, and I think we will have time to do at least one more after this. All right, going on to My Church. Another one that has is fun with chucking, but no chucking required, obviously. Just 3 chords here, and again, try that E minor, or sorry, 4. Try that E minor 7 if you don't like E minor. And anything else I want to say about this one? I've got another single strum and knock verse in here. You can tell I like that, but feel free to keep strumming through it if you don't feel like doing that. And a little single strum at the end. Yeah, pretty straightforward. If you don't know this one, it's very catchy. It's easy to pick up. So I'll start with regular island strum, but it's simplify that if you need to, and I might throw a chuck in midway through. Feel free to chuck the whole thing if you like. 2, 3, 4, G, and G. I've cussed on a Sunday, I've cheated and I've lied, I've fallen down from grace a few too many times, but I find holy redemption when I put this car in drive, roll the windows down and turn up the dial. Can I get a hallelujah? Can I get an amen? Feels like the Holy Ghost running through ya when I play the Highway FM. I find my soul revival, singing every single verse. Yeah, I guess that's my church. I might chuck here for this one. When Hank reads a sermon and Cash leads a choir, it gets my cold, cold heart burning, hotter than a ring of fire. When this wonderful world gets heavy and I need to find my escape, I just keep the wheels rolling, radio scrolling until my sins wash away. 3, 4. Can I get a hallelujah? Can I get an amen? Feels like the Holy Ghost running through you when I play the highway affair. I find my soul revival, singing every single verse. Yeah, I guess that's my church. Yeah, I guess that's my church. Yeah, I guess that's my church. Well, that one perked me right up. Thanks for suggesting it, Sheila. All right, we got time for maybe two more. More requests from folks. Here's the very end of the table of contents. Bob, you got anything for us? I put you on the spot the other night, so now you don't have as many requests today. Folks over on YouTube, you can make suggestions too.
Also the Rising Sun.
Oh, great. House of the Rising Sun. Let's do it. It would have been okay if you hadn't suggested one. I don't mean to put anybody on the spot, really. And Carol's suggesting Wildflowers. If we have time after House of the Rising Sun, we'll do Wildflowers for our final one, yes. Sometimes I've even been known to stay a few minutes late and do one more song, even if some people have to leave. So, I may just find a way to fit Wildflowers in there, even if we don't technically have time. There it is. Okay, House of the Rising Sun. This is another one that's more of a waltz time, like Times They Are A-Changin. So more of a 1, 2, and 3, and 2, 2, and 3 end. And to make it a little shorter, we can take out some of these interludes, but actually with the double verses, I don't know if I want to. Maybe we'll just skip the intro, and we'll go right into the song. So let's try it about this tempo, and we'll go right into the first verse. 1, 2, and 2, and 2. There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I'm one. Just your single strums if this goes too fast for you. There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy, and God, I know I'm one. Little extended outro here. One and four of these. 2, 3, 4, and A minor. Love the sound of that A minor. That's a great one. Very fun. All right, Carol, let's finish up with Wildflowers. Thanks for suggesting that. I love this Dolly Parton song. I know that I've promised my patrons I will also learn the Tom Petty Wildflowers this year. So that's on my list to do because I like that song. I've heard it before. It's great. So there's 2 Wildflowers we ought to have in our songbooks. And so this one just has 3 chords. Again, A, D, E7. Those are familiar from other songs. We're going to skip that intro riff because you don't need to worry about it if you're a beginner. And we're going to not worry about the picking pattern I've suggested here and just do an island if you're a beginner, or a down, down, up, or single strums. Complicated if you want to, but no need. We'll let Dolly's song carry us through. 1, 2, 3. The hills were alive with wildflowers, and I was as wild, even wilder than they. For at least I could run. They just died in the sun, and I refused to just wither in place. was lovely. What a nice way to spend my first Saturday night of March. I mean it. I'm not just being Pollyanna about it. I'm going to say farewell to folks over on YouTube first. Thank you so much for your requests. Thanks for being here. We love the lurkers too, but thanks to those of you who said hi in the chat. And I hope you'll join us again. There's another one of these coming up at the end of the month on a Thursday at a more UK friendly time. But everybody, check your time conversions carefully this month because daylight saving time happens in different places around the world at different times, and in some places not at all. So it's going to get confusing for a month and a half or so. See you again, I hope. Bye, folks.
Thank you
Pam.
so much. It was great.
Thank you
That
very
was so much
much.
fun.